This is the 2024 Honda Pilot TrailSport. Is it the most versatile trim level? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. And today I'm at Holmes Honda to give you the information to make a decision on whether or not you think this is the most versatile trim level of the Pilot. It has a lot of the same features you're going to find on the top trim level, the Elite trim level, which I do have a video on that particular model. You'll also find an exterior color here that's a little on the unique side. It's diffused sky pearl. Now you'll also find a black interior. But with the TrailSport trim level, one thing you'll find that sets that apart and kind of breaks things up, you can see it right here with the orange contrast stitching. You'll also find the TrailSport logo here in the headrests in the front seats. Now, in my personal opinion, I think that should be on every headrest in the vehicle, on the first, second, and third rows. And something else that will set this trim level apart is going to be ride height. Typically on all but the TrailSport trim levels, you're looking at 7.3 inches of ground clearance. In this case, we have an upgraded suspension to help out with the off-roading capabilities of this model. I'd say maybe light off-roading, maybe a little bit above light off-roading. It's not a Jeep, but it still can do some off-roading. It's going to have a ground clearance of 8.3 inches. So you have that additional ground clearance, and on the lower portion of the vehicle, on the most important areas where I think it needs to be at least, for the most part, you're going to see a matte black finish or a flat black finish, not gloss black. Now you will find, as far as the lowest area of the vehicle here on the front end, you will find some gloss black surround right here. And you will find the active air curtains that allow air to flow through the front end. I don't know if you can, there we go, we can see a little daylight through there. And you will find gloss black with the grille and with the brow that runs its way across here. We'll also have LED daytime running lights. Plenty of lighting here to help out. LED fog lights as well. The fog lights down there on the lower portion of the bumper, they're not on right now, but they are there. That's good if you are doing some off-roading. You'll also find the TrailSport logo here on the front and rear of the vehicle, and a lot of different camera views, including the trail camera. Here is your forward-facing camera, and if you're wondering what that is, that little notch that's sticking out right there is the front camera washer. All you have to do for that to work, and I'll show it to you later in the video in action from the interior, but it doesn't matter. It always works when you run your windshield wiper fluid to run, or windshield washer fluid to clean off your windshield. It's just part of that. So you're also going to have the rugged tires, a little bit more capable again off-road to provide that grip. 265 on the width, a 60 series sidewall, and it's going to be wrapped around the 18-inch wheels. You will find the TrailSport logo is going to be stamped into the wheels as well. And there's a lot to talk about when it comes to these side view mirrors. The gloss black mirror caps, turn signal indicators built in. They are heated, they're power adjustable, the blind spot information system built in right there in both mirrors, and last but not least, power folding as well. A lot of people like to know about that. They're not manually folding, they're power folding. There's a lot of you that ask if they're manual or power. You know that. You also ask about whether or not the remote has the remote start feature. You can see that it does. You can also use that button to open your power tailgate back there. And a lot of options here that make this versatile, including the fact that you have the roof rails up there with the crossbars. So if you're going out canoeing, whatever it is, you have some extra things you need to put up there on the roof, making room in the interior. Maybe it just won't fit in the interior no matter what. Well, that's a good option right there. And you will find your gloss black door handles. What do you think about that? Obviously, those are going to get a lot of fingerprints on them, but I don't know if they'll show up as much right there. It doesn't seem to be an issue, so that's a good thing. And we'll also find the rear roof spoiler. I would like to see the rear window wiper concealed away up there. It just cleans things up back here. I know for the average person, that's not a big deal. I guess that's just one of those things that people who are into cars like I am, just like to see. Maybe not everybody, maybe just me. I'm just that weirdo that likes to have a clean rear window. And we'll have our tail lights here, the Pilot logo. And again, there's that TrailSport logo. I mentioned that you had it here. And obviously this model is going to come standard all-wheel drive. So if you go TrailSport, you're going to go all-wheel drive. The TrailSport and Elite trim levels come standard with all-wheel drive. That means you can take advantage of max towing capacity, which is going to be up to 5,000 pounds. And for those of you who haven't watched a video on the Pilot for the last couple of years, as of 2023, you won't find the VTEC Honda V6 under the hood anymore. It is still a 3.5 liter V6, but it's now a dual overhead cam version. It only increases by 5 horsepower, 280 to 285 from the VTEC to this model. So 285 horsepower, 262 pounds-feet of torque, that remains the same. Gone is the 9-speed automatic transmission. You will find a 10-speed automatic transmission here that is specifically built for the Pilot, specifically tuned for the Pilot. And let's take a look at this model and see what its MPGs are estimated to be. 18 city, 23 highway, 20 combined, 5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And something you rarely hear about, at least based on what some of you have told me in the comments section on other videos I've made, the gas tank size. In this case, we're looking at 18.5 gallons. And underneath the rear of the vehicle, you will find a spare tire that could come in very handy in a multitude of situations, whether on road or off. And you have a power tailgate back here. And there's a multitude of ways to open this power tailgate. How about cargo capacity? Well, commonly you're going to get cargo capacity in cubic feet. And if you want that information, it's 18.6 to 86.5 to 87 cubic feet. However, I'm starting to do something in my videos. I'm going to give you the cargo measurements in inches. The width of the opening back here is going to be 44 inches. And if you measure from the floor, now this is without the cover right here. If you measure from the floor right here to the top of the door of the opening right here, we're looking at about 31.5 inches. And then we're going to be looking at 30 inches from right here where the rear door closes to the back of the rear seats. And when you lower this third row of seats, if you measure from where the rear door closes to the back of the second row seat, you're looking at 51 inches. And you will increase to 35 inches of height when you measure from the floor, or these seats being laid flat right here, to the roof line, where it does increase a little bit beyond this area in height. And when you lower the middle row seats, as everything is set right now, I measured to the back of the passenger side seat to where the rear door closes right here. That's 83 inches. That's going to vary a little bit depending on where those front seats are set. And underneath the floor right here, you have two different sides of this floor, by the way, the plastic side here or the carpeted side on the other side. You can flip this floor over depending on what you're hauling back here. There is some more space here underneath the floor as well. And one little tip that I want to share. Let's do this. Let me take the strap here and do that with it. So, why is that important? Well, you have Velcro right here, so you can Velcro these straps down. Why is that important? Well, if I wanted to come back here and put these seats back in place, I can lean in and actually reach. I'm not going to be able to reach from right here, but I can reach the strap right there. It's not easy to do, but you can see why it's important to Velcro those straps down, or should I say the cord or whatever you want to call that you're going to use to release the seats, to move them back and forth, whether you're laying them flat or putting them back in place. It sure is helpful to not have to reach way into the interior if you're tall enough to, or if you want to jump in there and do that, or you'll have to open the doors, these rear doors, to get to these straps here and pull to move the seats back into place, the seat backs back into place. I promise if you do that one time and you have to deal with it like that, you probably won't do it again. And because it will be easier to show from here, yes, the third row does recline. You can see the difference. There's a couple of different settings where those seat backs can be located. And we'll take a look into the passenger area here with the second and third rows. We'll start here with the door panel and its capabilities. You do have these shades stored within that door panel right there, the privacy shades that can be put in place or moved out of place, the same on both doors. And then the armrest right here. If I put my arm up there, that does seem pretty comfortable. So that's a good thing. You don't have any gloss black right here, so no issues with fingerprints. There is some gloss black here. I don't think that's an area where that's going to be a problem as far as fingerprints are concerned. The upper and the lower door bins. Have the pocket down here, plenty of space. Also the upper section with a couple of different cup holder options. And something I like to show here, when it comes to third row leg space, well, you can see that these seats in the middle row can move back and forth. So that helps out a lot. I always say this, I know in my videos, for those of you who don't watch regularly, I don't know how practical it is for that seat to be that far forward, but at least it gives you an idea of how that works. And something else that I know a couple of you have talked about in the past that you don't always see in these videos. Typically, everybody hops into the third row from over there on the left-hand side of the vehicle, and you've wondered, well, can you do it from the right? Here's the button to do that, just so you can see it in action. And I do have quite a bit of space back here. I'm pretty comfortable. Reclining the seats does help. If the seat was sitting straight up, I wouldn't be as comfortable, wouldn't have as much headroom. So the adults can ride back here, probably better in the middle row or in the front, obviously. And then you're going to find a USB port, as you can see right there. Air conditioning vent. Tell me what you think about that air conditioning vent location. Should that be up here maybe in the roof area? Might be a little bit more convenient. And then a couple of cup holders as well. And for those who wanted to see the difference in leg space with the seat all the way forward, well, here you go. There is a lot. Like I said earlier in the video, I don't know how practical that is, but there is the answer to your question, and obviously it can be a couple of different settings in between where they're located on both sides as well. And if somebody jumps out or both middle seat passengers jump out and just forget about the third row, no problem. They can just push the button back here, the seats get up and out of the way, and they can jump right out. And because I know the questions that have been asked in the past, let me cover this as well. What happens if the battery dies? Do you just have to crawl through the pass-through right there? Well, rear seat passengers could, because obviously pushing the button right here is not going to work when the battery dies if that happens. That's why you have the release right here. And another important question to be answered for those who desire a panoramic sunroof, that's what you have here. Now, that is your only option with the Pilot as of 2023 and here into 2024. We don't have the option for a conventional size sunroof at this point in time. So if you're wondering, there's the answer to your question. Now, we do have the rear seat pocket right here, also the pocket within, perfect for a cell phone, something along those lines, and the air conditioning vents here as well on the rear of the center console. Everything can be controlled here. That's very easy to deal with. We'll also have the power outlet right there and a couple of USB options. And for those who are saying, all right, Tom, you've shown us a lot. We still want to see the front seat and everything that's there, but what is the sticker price? $50,630. Let's find out what else you get beyond what I've already shown you. The door panel here on the passenger side front door, basically the same as what we saw with the rear door. Now you will find heated power adjustable seats here for the driver and the passenger. We took a look at these seats essentially earlier in the video. So you know what that looks like. There's the TrailSport logo down there on the floor mats. And the good thing here is that the way these are set up, you go off-roading, you go somewhere where everybody's shoes and boots and whatever are dirty, well, you don't have to worry about staining the carpet and having a muddy mess where that's concerned. These can be hosed off. Very easy to deal with. And a little bit of extra space right here for the cell phones and, well, whatever else will fit right there. Some of that orange contrast stitching again right here across the dashboard area and space within the glove box. And more connectivity options in the way of a 12-volt power outlet, USB options, a couple of different options there, and a wireless charging pad. And one thing that is never going to be neutral, at least based on what a lot of you have told me in the past, people either love it or they don't. The push button shifter. What do you think about it? Tell me your thoughts. Your drive mode selector, you can turn the auto stop start feature, or what Honda calls idle stop, off right there. There's your power parking brake and brake hold mode. That means when you come to a complete stop, take your foot off the brakes stay engaged. So if you're in a lot of stop and go traffic, where you live, that is helpful. And the nice large center console. So that's nice, can be used as an armrest and plenty of space within that area. So a lot going on where that's concerned. And the controls right here for your power shade, which I do have in place now for the sunroof, that panoramic sunroof. So if you need to put that in place, that's easy to deal with. And then you can control the tilt and slide feature of the front portion of the sunroof right there. And I'll show you what else you have up here. In case you were curious, you do have the sunglass holder with the conversation mirror. I know a lot of you are big fans of the conversation mirror, so you can keep an eye on the kids and sometimes, more importantly, on the adults that are riding with you, because they can be unruly more than the kids, right? And obviously the sunglass holder there as well. And here on the driver's side door, all of the buttons and switches you would expect to find. And if you're wondering what I pushed earlier to fold the side view mirrors in, it was this button right here. Now here's a little trick for you. Notice nothing's happening. So I'm going to reach over here and start the vehicle. You could just turn the ignition on and you'll notice that that mirror goes ahead and folds in. So you will need to have that on for that to work. And you have seat memory right here. You can also manage things such as traction control right here. You can open and close the power tailgate back there. The tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel can be adjusted when you drop this lever down. And we'll take a quick look here at the instrument cluster. That is nice, neat, and clean. You can go through a lot of information on there depending on what you need to know about as far as your fuel mileage and range and all that good stuff. There's quite a bit going on here. Pretty easy to figure out. I think you can figure that out without me telling you too much about what's going on. You can use what I like to call the hunt and peck method. And then you can work your way back and forth through the 10-speed automatic transmission with your shifter paddles there. Here's everything for your steering wheel mounted controls. You do have adaptive cruise control and obviously Honda sensing, so that's going to be road departure mitigation, lane keeping assist, lane departure, all of that's going to be there. Traffic jam assist, quite a bit going on. Here's where you're going to control the headlights and your fog lights right there. Separate controls for that. And then over here is where you're not only going to control your front and rear window wipers, but you're going to find this button. You'll only find this button on the Elite trim levels and the TrailSport trim levels. And what happens when I push that? Up come the multiple camera views. How many of you would like to see these same camera views available on additional Honda models that as of this very moment we're not seeing? There are quite a few of those. But here's what we have. Obviously that overhead view. You'll also have the cameras right here as far as that goes. This is going to be your trail cam, and we'll also have those cameras in the side view mirrors I showed you earlier. Now, let's go back to the front view camera. That's basically what we see right there. If I run the windshield washer fluid, there goes the front camera washer. Now, like I said earlier, that happens every single time you run your windshield washer fluid to clean off your windshield. So you don't have to have the camera on the screen for that to happen. So, one thing that I know a lot of people have told me in the comments section on these Honda videos, this is the largest screen you can get in any available Honda vehicle at the moment other than the Accord Hybrid. It has a 12.3-inch screen. This is a 9-inch screen. What do you think? Is it big enough? Should it be larger? What's the perfect size? I'm always curious to know what you think. And you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. You can wirelessly pair your phone. I do have my phone paired via Apple CarPlay right now, and to go between the two, you can see how easy that is to deal with. A very simple system to work with here. And if you need to go in and make some adjustments to different things on the vehicle, here's how you do that. Pretty easy to figure out what you need to go to depending on what it is. If your power tailgate isn't opening, well, here's where you need to come because, well, it could be turned off. There you go, manual only. Now, you can always open it manually no matter what, but there you go. Because I know a lot of you ask about that. That's a very simple solution. And then general settings, pretty simple to deal with. And obviously, when you go into reverse, you're going to see those camera views again, and you can work your way through the different views depending on what you need to see, whether it's front view, rear view, or whatever the case is. And down here with the shifter, I showed you the drive mode selector. Let's go through the drive modes. So here's what we have. Now we start with normal, and there are a lot of modes to choose from. So we have normal. We're going to go to Econ. Snow is going to be here. That'll interest all of you living up in the north in Canada, places like that, North America, or the northern part of America. Some of North America, a lot of us just got snow, including here in northwest Louisiana. Also, sand. There you go. You can use that. And tow mode. We'll also go up here to sport mode. So you can use that as well, depending on what your situation is. A lot going on here, that's for sure. Now, you will find heated seats, as I said earlier in the video, for the driver and the passenger side. Also, they are power. You have the controls here for your fan speed, for temperature, and you can sync both sides together. We have 3 zones of climate control, dual in the front, single in the rear, and you can control the rear from the front as well. It's pretty simplistic to deal with everything here. There's a lot of technology, but it's very simple to deal with. Okay, here we go on our test drive, and one thing, well, actually 2 very important points. I know a lot of people have asked, when I showed you earlier on the left-hand side of the steering wheel where the controls are for the power lift gate back there, you can turn your traction control on and off, all of that over here to the left of the steering wheel. Sometimes people will notice that there is a blank area right there, basically what you could use as a toggle or something along those lines, and people have asked, what is that for? Well, that's basically what it is for. If you wanted to add, say, a light bar to your Pilot TrailSport, well, you could put your control right there for it. So that's basically what it's for. If you want to make some kind of an addition to the vehicle or something like that, well, then you can do it. So essentially, that's the answer to the question. The other major question that I know a lot of people have asked me in the past about the Pilot TrailSport, since you have changes to ride height and you have the suspension that's going to help you a little more off-road, that kind of thing, does it change the ride quality? No, it really doesn't. Not that I can tell. Based on my experience in the Pilot, no, not at all. It's still just as comfortable as it would be on any other trim level, whether it's the EXL or whatever the case is. So I don't notice a difference personally. But overall, you do have a smooth ride quality here. It's comfortable, it's enjoyable to ride in, very comfortable interior, plenty of space, and you can obviously adjust things more so here in the front seats than you can in the rear. But one way or another, I don't feel cramped here at all. And I like the fact that the technology here is so easy to use. I really talked about that earlier, so there's no need to bring that up again, but that is one good thing for those of you who might be saying, man, I'm kind of on the fence about buying a new Honda Pilot because I've never had the new technology that these vehicles had in anything I've owned. Well, I can't say that every vehicle out there has easy to learn technology, but here I can say that. And obviously with all the safety features and everything that you have here, you might wonder if you looked over your right shoulder into your blind spot. You do have a little bit of a blind spot there, but honestly, that's alleviated because you have blind spot monitoring built into your side view mirrors. And anytime somebody is in that area on whether it's the passenger side or over here on the driver's side, you're going to see that blind spot information system. The indicator there will illuminate, and you won't have to be concerned about whether or not someone's there or not. One thing I've wondered about over the years, and I could ask some of you about, is would you like to see Honda bring back Honda Lane Watch? And I know that was only on the passenger side, but there are other vehicles out there that have that feature, that have it on both sides. What do you think? Tell Honda in the comments section. I know some of you in the past have said, boy, I wish Lane Watch was still available. Obviously, that's been gone for a while. I don't believe that's available on any Honda vehicle for 2023 or 2024, and I think it goes back even further than that, but it would be nice to have. And for those of you who don't know what that is, when you turned on your right side blinker, if you had that feature, then, and I don't mean the blinkers, because believe it or not, they come standard on all these vehicles, your turn signals do. I know that's a surprise to some people, but it's there. But I'm talking about Honda Lane Watch, and so it would have to do with the camera in the side view mirror over there on the underside. So you'd turn that blinker on and you'd see it come up on the screen, or actually on here on the infotainment screen, I believe. I'm thinking of some of the other models out there that still have a similar feature to that actually have it on the instrument cluster here. But it would be kind of neat to see that not only on the passenger side again, but on the driver's side too. So the main thing is to tell Honda what you think about that. But overall, the Pilot is definitely a great vehicle. In my opinion, pretty versatile. It does do a lot in a lot of different ways. But I'm curious to know what you think, because you are likely the people who are going to buy this particular vehicle. By the way, one more thing I did want to show you is that you do have parking sensors here as well. All right, we've given a good tour of the 2024 Honda Pilot TrailSport and hit the high points for the most part, even a little bit more than that. There's a lot we didn't cover here, but I don't want to make the video too long. So there's quite a bit going on. Tell me what you think. Is this the most versatile trim level for the Honda Pilot? Curious to know what your thoughts are. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda for loaning me this Pilot TrailSport for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. If you haven't subscribed just yet, please be sure to do so. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.